Hey Twilight, it's me again. We're playing Tomb Raider again, our favorite game. Episode one did so well. We got 1,000 comments, 10,000 likes, only 50 views though. I don't know how that happened. I think it's like you say I was botting. I paid a company to like give me a bunch of likes, and they ooh, a dog. I'm gonna shoot this dog.
Twilight, growing tired of your constant diversions, interrupted you. Please, focus on the topic at hand. We're talking about Fluttershy, remember?
No. That was last episode. We've moved on to a different thing, so you can't keep talking about Fluttershy. That's just not because it's like one topic per episode. So now this is the second episode, and who the fuck is shooting at me? Oh,
Twilight,
bastard.
frustrated by your refusal to stay focused, let out a sigh. Fine, if you insist on changing topics, let's talk about something else. But we'll come back to Fluttershy eventually.
Yeah,
I'm not letting you off the hook that easily.
yeah, we can talk about Fluttershy in like episode 3 or 4 or something.
Twilight, growing impatient with your constant distractions, replied firmly. No, we're going to talk about Fluttershy now. I'm
No,
not
no
letting
one,
you
no.
brush this off with some random topic.
Okay. So one thing annoys me is they got rid of like the red things on like the health packs because of like I don't know the red cross. Why does Switzerland get to have it as their flag though? That's all I've got to say.
Twilight, growing increasingly frustrated, replied with a hint of sarcasm. Oh great, another one of your brilliant tangents. Seriously, can we stay focused for 5 minutes?
We're not bringing up the Fluttershy allegations again. That was last episode. We don't need to talk about it this episode. There is no allegations. Well, there are allegations from you, but there's no if we talk about it this episode, it'll be all we talk about. So we have to like not talk about it for a while, but then bring it up later.
Twilight, exasperated, replied with a deep sigh. Fine, fine. We'll move on to something else for now. But
Okay,
just know that we will come back to Fluttershy. That conversation is not over.
that's what she said. Anyway, let's talk about yeah. So like so they changed it because it's like a breaks the Geneva Convention. Geneva, by the way, is in Switzerland, and it's because something to do with the Red Cross and it being a trademark or something. Okay, I'll climb.
Twilight, rolling her eyes, replied with feigned interest. Oh, how fascinating. A legal dispute over a red cross? Truly riveting.
Yeah, I mean, I could have designed that. It's not even that good a logo.
Twilight, still humoring you, replied sarcastically. Oh, really? You could have designed a better logo? I'm sure the Red Cross is taking notes.
Yeah, I mean, I have a box of crayons. I went crayon shopping the other day. Shall I tell you about that? That's a pretty good story. I'm gonna save. I save scum.
Twilight, trying to hide her growing annoyance, replied. Yes, I'm sure your crayon shopping exploits are absolutely riveting. Do tell.
Yeah, so I woke up yesterday and I was like, man, I want to go out, get me some crayons, do some drawings. I drew Sonichu, by the way. If you remember to a person who's editing this, which will be me, put a picture of the Sonichu picture I drew. It looks really good on the screen.
Twilight, growing increasingly weary of your ramblings, replied. All right, we get it. You like crayons and drawing. Can we please get back on topic now?
Ooh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, so I decided I went out crayon shopping and I bought some crayons. Now but then I decided I fancy a beer. You know, it was a Sunday, so I don't want to get too drunk. But I decided, what if I like started walking down the road, and there's a town 5 miles down the road from the crayon shop. If I walk 5 miles to get the beer, and then walk 5 miles back, it's like the because beer has a lot of calories, so it's like the energy that I've spent walking the distance has counteracted any negative effects of the beer, and then and vice versa.
Twilight, blinking in disbelief at your logic, replied with a hint of skepticism. You're saying that walking 5 miles to get a beer negates the calories from the beer? Are you serious?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it depends on multiple factors, but yeah, 5 mile definitely.
Twilight, still skeptical but intrigued, replied. All right, I suppose I can see the logic in that. But don't you think there are easier ways to get beer than walking 5 miles for it?
Yeah, it's more about the calories really. I couldn't have the calories. There's too many calories in like the beer, so I walked 5 miles and I walked 5 miles back. So it's actually I could have two beers.
Twilight, struggling to understand your thought process, replied with a
It's
frown.
pretty simple.
You walked 10 miles just so you could have 2 beers? That seems like a lot of effort just to avoid calories.
Well, I actually had about 9 beers. It worked. Yeah, I had 9 beers. I came home like 7 hours later.
Twilight, shaking her head in disbelief, replied. 9 beers? Are you sure you were still coherent after all that walking and drinking?
Uh, am I coherent now?
Twilight, growing concerned, replied. Seriously, are you alright? That's a lot of walking and drinking. Maybe you should take a break from the beer and rest a bit.
I mean, this was yesterday. We're talking. This is like yesterday, not today. This is like a different day.
Twilight, exasperated, replied. Yes, I know it was yesterday, but you seem a bit off. Are you sure you're feeling okay?
Uh, Sorry, I'm trying to get in the. So there's this guy with a gun. And he's like trying to shoot at me. So I'm just gonna. I'm not talking real life. I'm talking about the video game. I just need to kill him first.
Twilight, completely baffled at this point, replied dryly. Right. Of course, you're talking about the game. Silly me
Yeah,
for thinking otherwise.
yeah. So we're on like level 2, which is Venice.
Twilight, trying to stay engaged in the conversation, replied. Venice, huh? Sounds
Yeah,
like quite the change of scenery from the first level.
yeah. So it's like there's a boat and there's a man named Bertolli. He's like the main villain of the game, and you have to like find him or something. I never actually completed this game, so you know. Uh,
Twilight, still trying to follow your rambling, replied. So you're
Ramblings.
saying you never completed Tomb Raider 2? Despite playing it so much?
I don't think I actually owned it. I think it's one of those games that I like borrowed as a kid, like I knew someone with it. So I never actually owned the game. You know, I just borrow the disc and then I'd play it on my PlayStation. And I get to maybe like the third level. I think, oh fucking hell, Jesus Christ, the dog just bit me to death.
Twilight, starting to lose patience with your endless
Is it?
tangents,
Oh, for
replied.
fuck's sake!
Yes, the game is treacherous. Can we please stay on topic now? We
No.
still need to talk about Fluttershy.
Look, we'll talk about that on the third level, okay? Well, I'm sick of these allegations. This is ruining my political career. I'll have you know.
Twilight, sighing in frustration, replied. Fine, I suppose I can wait until the third level. But I do hope you're taking this seriously.
Well, yeah,
Fluttershy deserves justice.
I know. Hashtag justice for Fluttershy. So, when I'm elected, the mayor of Ponyville, do you want to know what my policies will be?
Twilight, reluctantly curious, replied. All right, I'll humor you. What policies do you plan on implementing if you become mayor?
I'm gonna like get some tape and I'm gonna tape your tail up so everyone can see your butthole at all times.
Twilight, taken aback, sputtered in disbelief. What? You can't be serious.
Yeah,
That's completely ridiculous and undignified.
yeah, but it's just to you, like to no one else. I'm also gonna lower taxes.
Twilight, still reeling from your outrageous idea, replied. You mean you're going to lower taxes for every pony except me? Just because you want to see my My tail?
No, they're two unrelated policies. But yeah, I'm going to tape up your tail so like your butthole is on display at all times, and then I'm going to lower taxes, but only for the very rich, only for like people who are just like who have like fuck you money. Small business owners have to wear silly hats on Wednesdays.
Twilight, utterly bewildered, replied. Let me get this straight. You want to lower taxes for the wealthy, force small business owners to wear silly hats on Wednesdays, and tape up my tail for what reason exactly?
Well, I'm going to tape it upwards, so you're like showing your Uranus hole at all times. Because it'll be very embarrassing and undignified for you specifically, but only to you, to no other pony. You're the only pony that's going to happen to.
Twilight, completely appalled by your proposal, replied firmly. Absolutely not. That is absolutely not happening. How could you even suggest something so humiliating and degrading?
Because I'm just suggesting it to you. You know, I won't do it to Fluttershy or anyone like that.
Twilight, growing increasingly fed up with your ridiculous suggestions, replied indignantly. That doesn't make it any better. Just because you're only doing it to me doesn't make it okay. It's still humiliating and undignified and completely inappropriate.
Now, I know you're going to start saying, but yeah, I do agree. Fluttershy has suffered enough from my actions, and I will be donating 5,000 bits the um, to the charity of my choosing. Thank you.
Twilight,
Thank you.
taken aback by the sudden topic shift, replied cautiously. You, you're willing to donate bits to charity? That's a noble gesture. But it still doesn't excuse your behavior towards Fluttershy.
Well, mistakes were made, and all I have to say to that is that I hope we can all move on from this terrible incident.
Twilight, growing weary of your flippant attitude, replied incredulously. That's all you have to say? You seriously think we can just move on from you taking advantage of Fluttershy's vulnerable state?
Now, this assumes, I'll have you know, that you're making a lot of assumptions here. Now, we have evidence on the contrary, my dear.
Twilight, growing increasingly frustrated with your deflections, replied firmly. Oh, really? What evidence do you have to the contrary? I'd love to hear it.
So, like, you know, Flush, it was like Fluttershy enjoyed it, and also she was drunk, so it's fine.
Twilight, growing more and more horrified at your justification, replied furiously. Are you completely insane?
Skybox.
That doesn't make it okay.
So he
Fluttershy was
goes,
drunk
ugh.
and vulnerable. That makes what you did even worse.
With Fluttershy, you know, she knew. You know, um, I didn't have to sign like a contract or anything. It wasn't that kind of a formal deal or anything like that. You know, I wasn't paying her either, although I did like keep the money.
Twilight.
Hold on, call it back. Hey Twilight, sorry I didn't catch that. My hard disk drive, well the SSD that I was recording onto has run out of memory, so I had to move like some anime and shit to the hard to my external. But it's all good now.
Twilight, rolling her eyes at your abrupt change of topic, replies exasperatedly. Right. Just like that, the conversation abruptly takes a detour. Typical. Can we please get back to the topic at hoof?
Oof, I love that. Yeah. So like, run about my campaign policies. Like, what I'm going to do to make Ponyville, I won't say great again, but you know, just better than it was, better than it currently is.
Twilight, willing to humor you, for now, replied sarcastically. Well, I can't wait to hear your grand plans for making Ponyville better.
So I told you about the hotel thing for you. Taxes for the rich, less of them. Taxes for the poor, same amount. You know, I'm not a monster. I'm not going to start taxing people for no reason. She's thinking.
Twilight, raising an eyebrow at your proposals, replied skeptically. So you're going to lower taxes for the rich and keep them the same for everyone else? Doesn't that seem a bit unbalanced?
Yeah, because you know, if I tax the rich, you know, they might not like me, and if I can get rich people on board, they can fund my campaign. That's how it works.
Twilight, growing tired of your cynical outlook, replied with a frown. So your campaign is going to be funded by the rich. Is that it? Don't you think that might lead to some conflicts of interest once you're actually in office?
Well, no, it's just to get me in. But then, like, my policy will. That was a rat. I killed it, I think. I'm gonna kill my rats. Like, there's too many rats in Ponyville.
Twilight, taken aback by your unexpected comment, replied in confusion. Wait, what did you just say? You're going to kill the rats in Ponyville?
Yeah, yeah, all, every single one.
Twilight, shocked and appalled, replied furiously. What? You can't be serious. There are ways to deal with rodents that don't involve killing them. That's completely unnecessary and cruel.
I'm gonna do it like the Canadian province of Alberta did. I'm just gonna like get all the rats. Gonna get a guy playing a whistle, and they're just gonna like herd them all off to some far off place, and then you know they'll never come back.
Twilight, still concerned but slightly less disgusted, replied cautiously. I see. So you're not actually going to kill them, just herd them away from Ponyville?
Yeah, yeah, and then kill them in like one place. So we get them all in like one place, and then we can like contain the blood in like one place.
Twilight, starting to feel a little faint, replied weakly. You? You want to kill them all in one place? That's so graphic and
Oh,
disturbing.
what we
Can't we find a more humane solution to the problem?
interesting use the word humane because you're a horse, but the I think the what we could do actually is we could because the whole like taking the rats to another place that sounds expensive, and Ponyville does not have that kind of budget. So here's what I'm thinking: we get other cities to pay us to take in their rats, and then we can kill them in Ponyville.
Twilight, utterly repulsed by your suggestion, replied with a disgusted grimace. That is absolutely the worst idea I've ever heard. First of all, it's inhumane to simply kill all the rats like that, and second, it's also just plain disgusting. Do you even hear what you're proposing?
Well, it's like you know how like it's like you know how like how do you think like uh I don't know things are funded uh, uh like water, like you know the thing you drink that isn't your pee. um you know I would like how do you think like the water comes out the tap? That's all I gotta say.
Twilight, growing increasingly perplexed and irritated, replied with a frustrated sigh. What are you even talking about now? What does
so
water coming out of the tap have to do with killing rats? These two
so
things are completely unrelated.
So the answer is taxes. Okay, so what funds all these things are taxes, and taxes. You know, you can tax the rich, you can tax the poor, but if you offer a service, you can actually save more money than you can make money rather than just having to spend it, and that's my plan with the rats. We'll buy everyone's rats. No, people will pay us to take their rats, and then um, we can make money from that.
Twilight, growing more exasperated by the minute, replied with a tired sigh. Are you suggesting that we start some kind of rat for money business? That's
Yes,
that's just
that's
ridiculous.
it's
Can we please
genius.
focus on something more important, like literally anything else?
Okay, do you have any ideas about how to raise money for Ponyville? Isn't like I don't know something dumb like a bake sale or taxes?
Twilight, regaining her composure, replied thoughtfully. Yes, there are several ways to raise funds for Ponyville. Holding community fundraisers,
No,
hosting festivals, or
no,
even collaborating with neighboring towns to organize events are just a few options.
no, and no. I don't feel like any of those ideas are good.
Twilight, rolling her eyes, replied firmly. Why not? Those are all perfectly reasonable suggestions. You can't just shoot down ideas without giving valid reasons why.
I wholeheartedly disagree with all those ideas. I feel as though they don't solve any of the problems that Ponyville is facing, such as the rats. There's a big rat problem. We should do something about the rats. Um, I just want to stay right now. I have no stance on immigration whatsoever. I don't care about it at all. I don't feel like it's something that we need to concern ourselves with.
Twilight, growing more and more frustrated by your rambling, replied firmly. That's completely off topic. We were talking about raising funds for Ponyville, not immigration. You
Yeah,
can't just switch gears midway through a
thought
conversation like that.
I just thought I'd mention it because I haven't brought up my stance on immigration, and my stance is I don't really care. I don't have one. So I feel so as a politician, it's important that I give my stance on immigration before anyone else asks me on it, because now we can just refer back to this conversation.
Twilight, shaking her head in disbelief, replied with a frustrated sigh. That is such a bizarre reason to bring up immigration in a conversation about raising funds for Ponyville. But fine, we've got your stance on immigration. Please get back to the actual topic at Hoof now.
Hoof, I love that. So yeah, what am I doing? So
Twilight, growing annoyed yet again, replied impatiently. Yes, yes, I know you love puns. Now stick to the subject at Hoof. We're supposed to be talking about raising funds for Ponyville, not playing word games.
I was thinking we could hold like a video game tournament for like whoever's the best gamer gets to like get whoever's the best gamer wins is what I'm thinking. Like, we could hold like a party, but it's only for gamers but like good gamers, not like, not kids who play Fortnite, like just cool gamers who play like, I don't know, like, fucking, like Metroid on the Super Nintendo, or like Duke Nukem on the DOS gaming PC, or like I don't know, uh, just good games.
Twilight, raising an eyebrow at your suggestion, replied with a quizzical look. A video game tournament, huh? That's not a bad idea, but why only for good gamers who play specific games? What about casual players? Or people who prefer different types of games?
I don't think they should be allowed.
Twilight, taken aback by your response, replied firmly. That's ridiculous. Why shouldn't they be allowed? Gaming is for everyone, not just hardcore players who play specific games.
No, no, I disagree. Like casual, nah, we don't want casuals. It'll ruin the atmosphere. Right,
Twilight, growing more and more frustrated with your snobbery, replied angrily. That's so elitist and judgmental. Casual gamers are just as important as hardcore players, and they have every right to participate in gaming events if they want to.
Have you played Fortnite? It sucks. It's like it's not a good game.
Twilight, rolling her eyes at your opinion, replied with a scoff. Just because you don't like one game doesn't mean all casual games are inferior. There are
Yes, it
plenty of great
does.
casual games out there
Where am I
that
meant to
lots
go?
of people enjoy playing.
Where am I meant to go? So I don't know. I'm on the Venice level in Tomb Raider 2.
Twilight, now completely confused by your ramblings,
Shit.
replied with a bewildered look. The Venice level? What are you even talking about
Tomb
now?
Raider 2. I'm talking about Tomb Raider 2.
Twilight, face-palming, replied with a tired sigh. Of course you are. And how is
Good
this
game.
relevant to our conversation about raising funds for Ponyville?
I thought we were talking about hardcore gamers, but yeah. So I feel like fuck's sake. Okay.
Twilight, growing more and more exasperated, replied firmly. We were talking about raising funds for Ponyville, remember? Let's stay on topic. We don't have time to debate what
Oh,
makes a
good,
hardcore
good.
gamer or not.
I think it's an important part of the conversation because if we are to hold the speedrunning tournament, we only want the good gamers and not not like the ones who are bad at games.
Twilight, sighing in resignation, replied with a hint of sarcasm. Of course, only the good gamers should be allowed to participate. We can't risk having bad gamers ruining our precious speedrunning tournament.
I'm glad you agree. I'm really glad you agree. For a second there, I didn't take you for a gamer, but now I know you're cool. But yeah, we need what was it?
Twilight, deciding to
Die
humor
already.
you for now, rolls her eyes and replies.
Okay.
All right. So only good gamers for the speedrunning tournament. Got it.
Yeah.
Can
You
we
okay?
please move on now?
Yeah. Okay. So we need to. What else can we do to raise funds for Ponyville? Now, I was thinking, um, we could. So we have the video game tournament for only good gamers, and we get all the rats. Like we'll go to Las Pegasus, we'll get all their rats, and we'll get them to. They will pay us to take their rats, and they will. We can like crush them in like Ponyville Town Square under.
Twilight, trying desperately to hold her composure, replied vehemently. Absolutely not. That is barbaric, disturbing, and completely unethical. We cannot kill rats just to make a profit, and we certainly cannot use Las Pegasus as some kind of rat dumping ground. There has
No.
to be a better, more humane solution to the rat problem.
So um so what we're gonna do is Las Pegasus will pay us to take their rats, and then Ponyville will become the rat dumping ground, and then we can get all the ponies to like crush the rats underneath their hooves. It could be like a festival, like Winter Wrap Up, or the other one, Hearts and Hooves Day. Only it involves killing rats.
Twilight, utterly shocked by your proposal, angrily replied, You are insane. That is completely inhumane and sadistic. We are not going to turn Ponyville into a rat-crushing festival, and we are definitely not going to have ponies killing rats under their hooves. Have you lost your mind completely?
I feel like it would make a lot of money though. Like ponies would come from all over Equestria just to see what gets up in what happens in Ponyville.
Twilight, shaking her head in disbelief, replied firmly, That's just evil. There are more important things than making money in this world. We shouldn't be profiting off the suffering and death of innocent creatures, just for some sick and twisted attraction. We need to find a humane and ethical solution to the rat problem, not turn it into some kind of spectacle.
I thought the plan was it was to raise money for the Ponyville town council so I can become mayor.
Twilight, growing irritated at your single-mindedness, replied incredulously. Yes, we need to raise funds for the town council, but we can do it in a way that doesn't involve causing unnecessary suffering and death. We can have community fundraisers, organize events, or even collaborate with other towns. There are plenty of ethical ways to raise funds that don't involve treating living beings like commodities.
Okay. So I have an idea. So you know how you live in a library?
Twilight, growing increasingly skeptical of your suggestions, replied cautiously. Yes, I live in a library. What's your idea?
And your library is also a tree, right?
Twilight, a little confused by the direction this conversation was taking, nodded. Yes, my library is a tree. Why do you ask?
But is it like an actual public library that people can like well ponies rather can come up to the library and then borrow books? Is that right? Is it that kind of library, or is it just like do you just have a lot of books?
Twilight, starting to see where this was going, replied patiently. Yes, it's a public library. Any pony can come and borrow books, study, or just hang out. It's a
Good.
place for knowledge and learning.
Lemon tree. So it's like if some pony was to come and borrow a book but didn't return it after a certain amount of time, let's say they like left it on the shelf for 6 months, would there be any ramifications from their negligence of not bringing the book back to you?
Twilight, growing a bit impatient with your line of questioning, replied firmly but politely. Yes, there are guidelines in place. If a pony borrows a book and doesn't return it within a reasonable amount of time, they may face consequences such as fines, loss of borrowing privileges, or in some cases, a permanent ban if they continue to abuse the system.
Okay, so I see. So you already do late fees. Hmm. What if you like start selling like renting out DVDs like Blockbuster? I hear they're doing good business.
Twilight, rolling her eyes at your suggestion, replied with a hint of sarcasm. Yes, sir, a library that runs on magic and is managed by an alicorn princess is the perfect place to start renting out DVDs. I might as well start selling popcorn and soda too, right?
I mean, you won't buy popcorn and soda from Blockbuster. You just make that at home. You know, it's not a movie theater. The idea is you borrow a DVD from Blockbuster and then they charge you a late fee.
Twilight, growing more and more exasperated with your insistence, replied firmly yet again. Look, Blockbuster is a completely different business model. As a public library, our primary focus is on providing books and resources for the community. We're not going to start renting out DVDs just to make an extra buck. We have our own methods of handling overdue books, and we don't need to emulate a failed business model.
Yeah. What about the So it's like Blockbuster. I think it's a good business model. I feel like um, where the fuck am I meant to go?
Twilight, growing frustrated with your fixation on Blockbuster, replied tiredly. You're meant to go back to the original point of our conversation. We were talking about raising funds for Ponyville, not renting out DVDs. Can we please get back on topic?
So I feel like renting out DVDs is a good business model because if not every pony has the internet. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, some ponies do, some ponies don't. I mean, what kind of speed do you get in Ponyville? Do you guys have like that new what's it called, a fiber optic broadband yet, or are you still on dial up?
Twilight, sighing at the change of subject yet again, replies with a mixture of annoyance and resignation.
Oh shit.
Fine, yes, I'll humor you. We have fiber optic internet in Ponyville. Happy now? Can we
Well,
get back to the topic of fundraising for the town council, please?
so how many megabits a second we talking? Like 7, 8?
Twilight, growing more and more impatient with your ramblings, replies shortly. Enough to access the internet without any issues. Now can we please focus on the task at Hoof?
What
And find a
about
humane and ethical way to raise funds for the town council?
what about like video streaming? You know, video streaming takes up more megabytes than just accessing you know, websites.
Twilight, still trying to keep her composure, replied flatly. Yes, we are aware of how video streaming works, and we have the necessary infrastructure in place for it. Can we please move on from the internet speeds and talk about
What
something relevant to the
if?
task at Hoof?
So the task at Huff, I love that. What we could do is, so we could like get rid of the internet speed. We can like throttle the internet speed. So like, you know, you can still access the internet. You can get like, you know, you can access pornography and you know, web pages and all that jazz. But but you can't stream movies. Like the internet speed in Ponyville just ain't that good. And you have to like you have to like buy DVDs or rent them.
Twilight, now completely bewildered by your suggestion, replied with a mix of anger and disbelief. Are you serious? You want to throttle the internet speed just so people will buy or rent DVDs instead? That is absurd,
So ponies
unethical,
will.
and absolutely ridiculous. We
No,
don't
but
mess with the internet speed here in Ponyville. People count on it for their livelihoods, their education, and staying connected with friends and family. We're not going to purposely slow things down just to boost some outdated business model.
you can make a load of money off of it. That's all I'm saying. You can make. It's like a dog outside keeps barking. You okay, Twiley?
Twilight, completely fed up with your suggestions, replies firmly. No, you're not. We are not creating artificial problems just to sell a solution. That is unethical and exploitative. We have to find real,
It's
ethical
a
ways
go.
to raise funds for the town. Creating artificial problems and selling solutions is completely out of the question. Now can we
Right, so
please get
what
back
in
to
here?
finding viable solutions for raising funds for Ponyville?
Um. Well, you keep shooting down my suggestions. I mean, I was. So we have. So from what I can tell, there's only like three ways to make money, and that's from DVD rent free rent DVD late fees, crushing rats, and whatever the third option was.
Twilight, growing increasingly annoyed, replies gruffly. There are more ways to make money than just those three. We could organize community-wide fundraisers, host charity events, or even collaborate with other towns. We don't need to resort to unethical and inhumane methods to raise funds for the town council. So can we please move on from your absurd suggestions and focus on finding viable options that don't involve causing harm or discomfort to others?
Could try. What's it called? Taxing the poor, like more money. I saw this movie called Robin Hood. It was like the Disney version, and in that movie, the king would like tax everyone, and no one had any money, but the king had like he had like a bedroom that was just full of gold coins.
Twilight, starting to feel a headache coming on, replies wearily. Yes, I know about the concept of taxation. It's a way for a government or monarchy to collect revenue from a population. But we're not living in a kingdom ruled by a monarch who hoards
Yes, you
gold in
are.
chambers. We're a democratic society, with a town council that represents the community. We have ethical and regulated ways of collecting taxes. And it's not just to enrich the leaders. It's to pay for necessary services and infrastructure for the betterment of the town.
All right, I'm gonna look up where to go because I've forgotten. So like, is Equestria like is it, you know, 'cause you have a princess who rules over? So is Equestria like a principality? Is that how it works?
Twilight, trying to keep her patience as you continuously change subjects, replies quickly. No, Equestria is not a principality in the traditional sense. It's a democratic republic with a constitutional monarchy. The princesses are rulers, yes, but they rule alongside the advisory council of representatives elected by the ponies. Equestria is a blend of various political systems, but not strictly a principality.
That's how I can become mayor of Ponyville. Then I see. I see. Um, so it's like we could try. What if we? Oh yeah, video game tournament. That's it. There are 3 ways to make money: crushing rats, DVD late fees, and video game tournaments. Those are the 3 ways to make money.
Twilight, growing tired of this repetitive conversation, replies with a mix of frustration and resignation. Yes, we've been over this already, but video game tournaments are not going to be enough to raise the funds we need for the town council. We need to find real sustainable ways to generate revenue, and crushing roots is unethical and inhumane. We have to find a better solution. Now please, can we move on from your 3 ways to make money?
So I'm looking up a walkthrough. Hold on. So you go here. You jump down there. And then yeah. Can you tell me like an interesting fact about Equestria or Ponyville? I'll look this up.
Twilight, grateful for the distraction, replies curtly. Fine. Here's a fact. Ponyville was founded nearly a millennium ago by a group of ponies seeking a new home and a fresh start. The community has since grown and developed into a vibrant town, with a rich history and deep-rooted traditions.
Is Starsquirrel the bearded gay? He looks gay.
Twilight, growing irritated at your insensitive remarks, replies sternly. No, he's not, and even if he was, that's irrelevant. What matters is that he was a selfless and heroic figure, who always put others before himself. His sexual orientation has nothing to do with that.
Was there like a pony Hitler, like there was a human Hitler?
Twilight, a bit taken aback by your question, replies somberly. Yes, unfortunately, there was a period in equestrian history where a pony known as Lord Tyrek led a war of oppression against those deemed inferior. Tyrek's actions have been compared to those of human dictators like Hitler, as he sought to impose his ideals of superiority and dominance over others.
I think I know way. Hold on. Am I going the right way? Yeah, so it's a bit of a thing. Yeah, so like if there was a pony Hitler, would he have a mustache like regular Hitler, or would he have like the same mustache like the Charlie Chaplin mustache?
Twilight, growing tired of this increasingly absurd conversation, replies flatly. I highly doubt that a pony dictator would have a mustache like regular Hitler, nor would they have one like Charlie Chaplin. That would be ridiculous.
You see, Charlie Chaplin played a character in a movie called The Great Dictator, and the character was basically Hitler. But he played him because he had the same mustache, and that's the only reason.
Twilight, growing more exasperated with the change in subject, replies tersely. Yes, I'm aware of that movie and Charlie Chaplin's role in it, but we're straying far from the topic of fundraising for the town council. Can we please stay focused?
Okay, so I figure this. Oh, there's another door here, so I have to go through there. And what we'll do, if I can find out where that door is, then there should be a switch for that door, and then I think it will open up the next gate, and I can get the boat through.
Twilight, completely bewildered, replies with a mixture of confusion and exhaustion.
I'm pretty confused.
What on earth are you talking about? Are you playing a video game or something? That has nothing to do with our conversation.
I swear you have Alzheimer's. Yes, we're playing Tomb Raider 2.
Twilight, now annoyed beyond belief, replies curtly. This is ridiculous. We're discussing serious matters, and you're talking about a video game? This is not the time or the place for this. We need to focus on finding viable solutions for the town council. Put the game aside and pay attention, please.
I swear God, you have pony Alzheimer's, where your brain has just turned to mush, and whenever I bring something up, it's like 20 minutes later, you've forgotten it. I bet you've even forgotten about the allegations from earlier.
Twilight, finally reaching her breaking point, replies sternly. I do not have pony Alzheimer's, you insufferable buffoon. I've simply been trying to keep this conversation on track. And you keep changing the subject, left and right. And no, I haven't forgotten about the allegations. But unlike you, I'm focused on solving real problems, not playing video games and spouting nonsense.
All good politicians play video games. Everyone knows that.
Twilight, rolling her eyes in
There we go.
frustration, replies bluntly. Actually, most politicians are too busy governing and creating laws to play video games. That's a ludicrous claim.
Well, I disagree.
Twilight, tired of your baseless arguments, replies firmly.
Based.
I don't care if you disagree. Facts are facts. And the fact is that most politicians don't have time to play video games. They're too busy with important matters. Unlike you, who can't seem to stay focused on anything long enough to have a coherent conversation.
So I could. What is that? That's the TV aerial, I think.
Twilight, now thoroughly exasperated, replies sarcastically. Oh, great. Now you're paying attention to the TV aerial. Just what we need. Congratulations, you've discovered technology.
Do I have everything I need? So I have an iron key, but I don't know what to do with it.
Twilight, her patience wearing thin, replies with a mixture of annoyance and defeat. How am I supposed to know? It's your game, isn't it? You should know what you need. And if you don't, maybe you should start paying attention instead of spouting nonsense.
Well, I didn't design the game, now did I? No, it's yeah, I think it's probably this way. It's probably this
Twilight,
way.
giving up on trying to reason with you, replies dryly. Go ahead then. Figure it out. Maybe if you actually focus on something for longer than 5 minutes, you'll make some progress.
Well, I'm trying not to look at the walkthrough again. This is cheating.
Twilight, rolling her eyes once again, replies sarcastically. Oh, what a noble endeavor. You're so brave for resisting the temptation of the walkthrough. Here's a badge, Champion of Independence.
Well, I agree. Thank you for your kind words. You are, that is a little compliment here and there goes a long way, and you've made my day. You've made my day a lot more special. Where's this go? Ooh.
Twilight, still exasperated, replies with exhausted sarcasm. Well, I'm just overjoyed that I could make your day so special. It's not like we have important work to do or anything. No, let's just sit here and bask in your self-proclaimed greatness.
I'm pretty great, not gonna lie.
Twilight, fed up with your arrogance, replies pointedly. Yes, I'm aware of how highly you think of yourself. But here's a little reality check for you. You're not the center of the universe, and the world does not revolve around your ego.
Okay. So I've unlocked both these gates now. I figured it out. You meant to now. There's a thing, you activate a switch and it opens the doors at the end, and then you can go to you can get to the next level. That's EB level 2 of Tomb Raider.
Twilight, still irritated, replies dryly. Fascinating. Truly groundbreaking. I don't know how the world has survived this long without hearing your brilliant insights into the intricacies of video game levels.
So hold on. Just need to line this boat up and press the switch. I'm gonna save scum because I mean it's like 10 PM. I've got work tomorrow. Let's see.
Twilight, growing more impatient by the minute, replies with a hint of resignation. Oh, of course you're going to save scum. Because heaven forbid you actually play the game as it was intended. You know, with a little bit of challenge and consequence.
You know, the PC version had you could like save anywhere anyway, so you know, I don't see this as cheating necessarily. I just see it as I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm a busy guy. I've got busy shit to do. Yeah, you know, I can't be spending all my time playing video games when I want to be the mayor of Ponyville. And just
Twilight,
like that,
shaking her head at your audacity, replies with a mix of disbelief and annoyance. Oh, of course. Saving whenever you want is not cheating at all. It's just a convenient little shortcut, isn't it? And I'm sure being the mayor of Ponyville would be so much easier if you just saved every time things got tough. But wait, that's right. You're never going to be mayor with your poor decision-making skills.
Jesus Christ, Twilight, it's a video game. Anyway, uh, that so level 2 it took me 43 minutes. I got all the secrets. 27 pickups out of 30, 24 kills. I fired like 700 bullets and I walked about 6 kilometers. So I think that's pretty good stats from me. Um, I did pretty good, I think.
Twilight, rolling her eyes in disbelief, replies sarcastically, "Oh wow, I'm so impressed. You've managed to gather a few collectibles, shoot at things, and walk around. Clearly, you're an expert video game player. I'm sure the entire world is in awe of your incredible prowess."
You know, you've got to break a few eggs to make an omelette, and that's all I've got to say about that. So that was episode 2. Do you have any closing thoughts or feelings or emotions? I don't know.
Twilight, growing weary of your relentless video game commentary, replies bluntly, "Yes, I have a thought. This conversation has gone on long enough. We're here to discuss fundraising for the town council, not to talk about your
Okay,
virtual adventures.
let's just end the video. It's been
Can we
fun.
please focus on the task at hoof?"
Yeah, yeah, whatever.